In this video I'm going to teach you how to never be sick again. And like many problems, the idea of being sick and our attitudes, our beliefs, and our feelings towards this idea is created in language. It's created in the way we talk about things. It's created in the way that we symbolize the reality, the existential things that we're trying to represent. So when we think of sickness, we think of being sick, we think of catching a cold, getting diarrhea, getting mucousy, having to cough, having to sneeze, all of these things, which I'm talking about here is sickness. I'm not talking about, terminal illnesses and things like that, because that's kind of a different genre. I'm thinking of more day-to-day things that people are facing on a regular, mundane, day-to-day kind of a thing. For example, getting a flu, getting a cold, having, diarrhea, getting mucousy, getting coughing and sneezing, all of these things, which most people think of as negative and terrible. So this is fundamentally based on a misunderstanding of what's actually happening in the body. So when we're exposed to a bug, when we're exposed to bad food, when we're exposed to something our body doesn't like, our body, out of its own intelligence, out of its own protective mechanisms, exerts its own intelligence, its own force, its own methods, its own means to protect us, to protect itself. And we think, oh, it's bad, I feel bad, this is terrible, why is this happening to me? I mean, in reality, I think we should be grateful for what's happening. We should be grateful for that our body is intelligent, that our body is catching something before it can get in and really do damage and really take hold in our body. So, for example, when we get a fever, what's our body actually doing? It's raising our temperature in our body to kill a virus, to kill off pathogens, to kill off things that are trying to take hold in our body, that are trying to harm us. So getting a fever, in reality, is actually a good thing. So when these things happen to us, rather than being all negative and mad and upset and sad and angry and all these things, which just make the situation worse, we can understand that A, our body is exerting its own intelligence and killing something and fighting something off, and that's something that we should go with. We should support it. We should rest and relax and drink, the right water, take the right things, support the process rather than trying to fight it, and rather than labeling it as negative and just feeling upset and trying to push through it. Likewise, when we get, like diarrhea or something, we go out to a restaurant, we have some food, we go to another country, we have something. This is just our body's way of saying, like, hey, I don't want to digest this. This is not good for us. Let's just get this out of here as soon as possible. And we think, oh, it's terrible, it's embarrassing, it's obnoxious, all these things, but in reality our body is doing us a favor. Likewise, when we get mucus, when we sneeze, when we cough, it's our body's way of expelling things and getting things out before it can get in and take hold and really harm us and really, do damage in our body. So ultimately, of course, there are strategies that we can take, dietary, herbal, exercise, all of these things to build up our body so that we don't ever have to really deal with these things. But in the event that any of these things happen, or you know someone that's going through this, or you've gone through it yourself, or maybe you're going through it right now, just a shift in the way you see things. Or there's a quote that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So it's a way that we can exert our creative mental faculties and really go with what our body's trying to do, because our body's trying to heal, it's trying to recuperate, it's trying to get us back to health and homeostasis. So we need to support that as best we can. And a positive attitude, an open and accepting attitude, is only going to facilitate the process. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't do anything preventative. It's not to say that you shouldn't, take things to facilitate healing and to really help your body out, because you definitely should. But you should really understand what your body's doing and why it's doing it, and respect and be grateful for the intelligence that your body has to be able to fight off anything that could be invading your body. And this is just in the short-term context, and I think you'll be amazed when you change your mindset in regards to these things, when you change the way you look at these things, the way that your life is going to unfold, the way the future is going to unfold, the way your health is going to be from this day forward will surprise you and will make you feel a lot better, more positive, more optimistic. Because, everyone knows that optimists live longer and are happier and healthier than pessimists. And this is more of an optimistic way of looking at things. It's more of a winner's script. It's more of something that's conducive to health and healing. because we're conditioned to believe, like I said before, that these things are sick, that we're sick, it's bad, it's terrible, we need to take a drug, we need to suppress it, we need to get rid of it, we need to squash it, kill it, we have a war on it, all these things, and that's just breeding more negativity, more hostility, and creating a more fertile place for these viruses and funguses and yeasts and molds to dwell, because they enjoy an acidic, contracted environment. But if we take this point of view and we understand that our body is intelligent and it's wise and it's going to take us to health and homeostasis, we just have to support it and go with it, that's just going to create a more alkaline environment where these things can't breed and these things can't take hold. And in reality, over the long term, the less we're going to have to think about these things, the less we're going to have to deal with this, and the less we're ever going to have to worry about or even be concerned with the possibility of ever being sick again. So that is how to never be sick again. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I will talk to you soon.